What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Wax Museum, and I hope you guys are doing well today. And today I want to talk to you about a graded card. And before I go any further, I want to clarify, anytime you talk about grading, look, I understand grading is subjective. I also understand that companies get stuff wrong. But there were several things that stood out to me when examining the context of this specific card that I thought deserved mentioning. And I thought I would also get some of your thoughts on it as well. So, my good friend Steve, aka Vintage Pacers on Instagram, he purchased a card, this Obi Toppin card, in an arena club slab, and he posted a series of stories about it. So we might as well start there. So you see the first picture here, and I'll pause it so it doesn't get ahead of us. But it says it's the second arena club slab that he's purchased. The first one was just curiosity to see how it looked. And he said this time it was just because he wanted the card. So the slab had no bearing on his purchase. He said the physical slab is average, probably no better or worse than PSA. But then he said the quality control and the actual grading is a joke. So, I reached out to him and we talk about cards all the time. So I kind of wanted to know more information, but also his stories give some of that context as well. So the first thing that was a little bit concerning is that this is an optic blue parallel, and that's not even listed on the slab. So they labeled it as the base card, not even the silver or the hollow or anything like that. They just labeled it as the base card, which, yes, we can overlook that, but that's something that's obviously wrong about this. And then notice that he got a Gem Mint 10 grade, and it appears to be a pretty, significant dimple. I don't know, maybe significant's not the right word, but there's a dimple nonetheless. And pop one, none higher, right? So we'll go in and we'll look a little bit more at that card, because when that happened, I asked him, I said, well, I don't know much about Arena. Yes, I've seen different people posting about it. I've seen Derek Jeter. I even got a picture with Derek myself at the National, but I don't know a lot about Arena. So is this all computer grading? So I decided to go onto their website and take a look for myself. What's happening here? How is this card graded? What all's going on here? So we'll scroll past this because that's not really the information that we need to know. They go through the grading process. So basically, someone takes the card. It says they're handled with care. The package is opened on camera. We then match the card with your submission and then authenticate it to ensure it's not counterfeit. This card obviously is not counterfeit. So cards are then scanned to capture high resolution images. They're put back into top loaders. That way they're not handled a ton. And then here's the important part that we want to look at. Number 3, our expert graders aided by computer vision and artificial intelligence. So it looks like it's a combination of computers and machinery, right? And AI, which is good. That I think that's probably the right route for grading companies to go. It says they then examine every detail of the card. Subgrades are given. And then after that first round of grading, it's actually reviewed by another grader, and then the third round of review before it's prepped for slabbing. So supposedly these are looked at 3 times, and then it's slabbed. And then, I don't know. They've got some online stuff where you can track the transactions or whatever. I'm not so worried about that stuff. I just want to kind of look at the grading itself. So each card gets an individual QR code on the back of the slab. So he sent me the code for the Toppin. And the first thing that stood out to me here, remember his first complaint was that the card was not labeled properly on the slab, or the flip, I guess I should say. But if you look at the version online, it is. And not only that, they have the serial number on there. So maybe the scan of the card is a scan, but the picture of the slab is not the actual slab, because it never ended up with the correct label in hand, just the correct label online. So I thought that was kind of strange. There are some things about this report that I really like, though. So if you click on the actual grade itself, Gem Mint 10, which we're going to examine that, it will take you to a report here. So it's got the different subgrades. So centering, which, hey, centering is probably the most objective of all of these grades, because it's measurable, right? You can see, okay, there are numbers that go with it, and they give you those numbers. So they've got the left to right centering. They've got the numbers on there, 47 to 53. To get a 10, it doesn't have to be 50-50. We've talked about that ad nauseum here in the hobby. Top to bottom, not as close as 39 to 61, but there's still some variance there. That's okay. And then you can click the back of the card and you can get those numbers as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. So it got a 9.5 on centering. The edges got a 10, and it kind of shows you if there's any wear, just a little bit of wear up there. The corners got a 9.5, and you can look at those, the different issues with that subgrade. And then the surface got a 9.5, which I thought was interesting, and it's got these hot spots here. This is the dimple that Steve pointed out in his post, and I'm going to try and scroll in so you can see it. On the scan, it's definitely not as pronounced. Or at least I can't see it on there. We know it's there, though. We know that it's an issue, and then there were several other areas as well. Now, this concerns me a little bit because I would think that with a dimple, even a small dimple, you probably can't get that good of a surface grade. So I just want to see if we can get some clarification on that. Let's go back to the grading page here. So it did not get a perfect 10. So that's not what we're looking for, but it is a Gem Mint 10. So a Gem Mint says it's nearly pristine. The card standards are no subgrades below 9.5, so that's fine, with at least one or more 10s, 4 clean corners, four clean edges with slight minimal minor defects, slight allowances for surface issues, and symmetrical centering on front and back of the card. So my question to you is, and we all know that grading is subjective, do you think that this dimple, and even you can see some of these scuffs on the rest of the card, are those slight minor defects when it comes to a graded card, or is this a card that was probably misgraded? And I'm just curious to see what all went into that. Do you think the computer should have caught that, or do you think the computer catching it and marking it on there should have been something that one of those 3 graders should have seen and reacted on? Or is this just a card that's graded properly, and we have to understand that a 10 is not going to be exactly perfect? So I just thought I'd throw all of that out there. I'm not super familiar with Arena Club. It was a good way for me to get to know their cards a little bit or their slabs a little bit without having to really purchase anything on my own. So I thought I would let you guys see it as well. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, there are new episodes of the audio podcast that come out every Thursday. And as always, thanks for watching.